This video is my attempt to sort of bridge the gap between quote-unquote Rockets fans and Lin-only fans. I'm not gonna keep using the quote-unquote when I talk about Rockets fans in this video, but how I'm defining Rockets fans in this video is they are, obviously fans of the Houston Rockets, but when it comes to Lin, they see Lin as just an average role player. And they see Lin only fans as uninformed fanboys and girls. They're annoyed by Lin only fans. And when the insanity was happening in New York City, they barely paid attention to it because they felt it was one of those hyped up New York stories. And they were even a little annoyed by it. They also begrudge Lin for replacing their beloved Dragic, who was their own version of Linsanity. As for Lin-only fans, they run the spectrum from those who hold extreme views of Lin, those who really hate Harden, to Lin fans who love Lin the most on the team but are also fans of other Rockets players and appreciate what other players bring to the table. Lin fans who also have an appreciation for Beverly and see Beverly as having the same level of work ethic and heart as Lin. The commonality, I guess, among all Lin fans is that they see Lin as being the floor general, leading the offense. They also see Lin as having at least near all-star or all-star level potential. So anyway, moving on to the video, I think there's such a big disconnect between Rockets fans and Lin-only fans for a variety of reasons that have to do with each side having completely different sets of information or different interpretations of the same information. Rockets fans aren't very familiar with Lin's game because they barely paid attention to Lin during Linsanity. All they have to go on is Lin's performance as a Rockets, which was average or slightly above average. Of course, there's a laundry list of reasons why Lin didn't perform up to his capabilities, but I don't want to go into that here. I'll include a link to my blog post from last season in the description below if you're interested in finding out more. The only thing I want to mention about that is the biggest difference to me with Lin this season and Lin last season is that last season he was coming off of injury, so he didn't have a chance to work on his game at all during the summer because he was still recovering from injury. Whereas this season, he had a chance to work on his game a lot. And so that's why you're seeing, him improving so many aspects of his game. But since Rockets fans are more interested in the Rockets team as a whole, they don't pay too much attention to what each individual player is dealing with. So I think it's totally understandable for Rockets fans to see Lin as just an average role player. And because of this, they don't see why Lin fans make such a big deal out of Lin, and this is also understandable. Again, it goes back to the information that they have. They don't have a lot of the information that Lin fans have on Jeremy Lin simply because they don't really pay attention to Jeremy Lin, so their views on Jeremy Lin are completely understandable. Lin fans, on the other hand, are very focused on Jeremy Lin. They understand Lin's game and they know how Lin is supposed to be played. They see Lin as a floor general and an offensive leader based on Lin's Linsanity performance with the Knicks. They pay attention to every little detail about Lin, so they know that Lin didn't perform up to his capabilities in the first season with the Rockets, and this is where the disconnect comes into play. Lin fans have this vision of what Lin could be, what Lin's potential is, and they sort of assume that everybody can see this. And so they talk about Lin based on Lin's potential, not based on what Lin has done, especially last season. So there's a really huge disconnect when Rockets fans listen to what Lin-only fans have to say because they're totally seeing two different players. The Lin-only fans are still stuck on Lin during Linsanity. And the Rockets fans only know of Lin when he was with the Rockets, when he was only performing at a, average to slightly above average level. And so that's why you get this disconnect and this sort of one group being really annoyed by the other group. But since Lin has performed so well in the past week, I'm hoping that that gap between Rockets fans and Lin fans is already being bridged now that Rockets fans are finally seeing what Lin fans have been seeing in Lin all along, even when Lin was struggling at the beginning of last season. In the Phillies game, the Rockets had a season-high 34 assists, and Lin ended up with 12 of those assists. This is why Lin-only fans continue to complain about Mikhail's misuse of Lin, how Lin needs to be more of a floor general, the primary ball handler. The offense flows much better when Lin is the floor general, and Lin's unselfishness is contagious. After all, this is what Linsanity was all about. Guys were having fun and sharing the ball, playing with a great deal of joy and unselfishness. This is why Lin fans are so adamant about their complaints of how Lin has been misused so far, because they see this potential in Lin. But since Rockets fans don't really think much of Lin, they don't understand all the complaining, and they just dismiss it as Lin fans being delusional, etc. I'm hoping that Lin's performance as of late will wake up Rockets fans and get them to think twice before completely dismissing all Lin fans as just uninformed fanboys and girls. That just maybe Lin fans actually do know a little bit more than they do about Lin, since Lin fans actually spend a lot of time focused on Lin's game. On the other hand, Lin-only fans need to have more patience with Rockets fans and not expect Rockets fans to know every little thing about Lin and see Lin as this special being. They need to sort of let it happen. They need to, and it is already happening. I went on the post during the Sixers game, and, there were a lot of really positive things said about Lin on the Dream Shake by a lot of Rockets fans. So it is already happening now that Rockets fans are actually seeing what Lin is capable of. Going on the Dream Shake forum during that Sixers game is what actually helped me come to this realization that Rockets fans don't know that much about Lin, and it's totally understandable. A lot of Rockets fans were really shocked about how well Lin was shooting the ball. Granted, he was shooting extremely well in that game, but to me, as a Lin-only fan who's been following Lin throughout the summer and things like that, it didn't surprise me whatsoever that Lin was shooting well. Before even the preseason started, I predicted on my blog that Lin would shoot at least 40+% from 3-point. And the reason I made this prediction is I saw the way he shot the ball during the summer, and his stroke was so much smoother. There wasn't that hitch. And so I knew that he would be shooting very, very well this season, despite his low percentage last season. And also, like, the last 3 months or so of last season, Lin started shooting very well. So that's how I kind of realized that, Rockets fans don't follow Lin in the summer. They don't really know what Lin is up to. So it's totally understandable that they're really shocked by all the improvements that Lin has shown in this past week. Whereas Lin-only fans, follow Lin to a great degree, and so they're not as surprised by, all the improvements. In fact, as a Lin fan myself, I expected Lin to perform at this level. I even said that if Lin is the number one option this season, would be Linsanity 2.0. And, a lot of Rockets fans have an allergic reaction to Linsanity. When you even mention the word Linsanity, they just freak out because they think you're trying to bring back this thing that they see it as a fluke or whatever, and they see it as a distraction. But the truth is, Linsanity is part of Jeremy Lin. That's part of him. He was the one who made Linsanity happen. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to divorce Linsanity from Jeremy Lin. I understand, you don't want to sort of keep talking about that and have it be the focus rather than the Rockets. But to me, Linsanity was not just about Jeremy Lin scoring at a high level. It was more about unselfishness, about a team that shares a ball, about a team that plays unselfishly, and a team that plays with a lot of joy. That's what Linsanity was about, and I fully expected Linsanity to happen with the Houston Rockets. It hasn't really happened so far. In the preseason, actually, it did happen, but I think with the whole Ashik Twin Towers experiment, it kind of fell away because of the spacing and all of that. So I'm hoping it comes back. But anyway, that's a total segue. Now I understand Rocket fans' annoyance at Lin fans who hate everyone else on the team except Lin and who can't accept any criticism of Lin, no matter how small, who take every little thing as being an offense to Lin. But this is only a small segment of the Lin fan base. And this is what I can't stand, is that Rockets fans extrapolate this minority contingent within the Lin fan base to all Lin fans, and the moment you show yourself to be a Lin-only fan, they just lump you into this segment and dismiss everything you have to say. The other thing that really irritates me about Rockets fans is that the moment you show yourself to be a Lin-only fan, they immediately assume that you think Jeremy Lin is the second coming to Michael Jordan, or something like that. I mean, there are plenty of levels between being an average player to being the second coming to Jordan. For example, there's above average, well above average, top 10 point guard, near all-star, top 5 point guard, all-star, top point guard, top 10 player, etc., etc. Many, many levels before the second coming to Jordan. Yet the moment you say anything positive about Lin and you've shown yourself to be a Lin-only fan, Rockets fans distort your comment into you believing that Lin is the second coming to Jordan. If there are any segments of the very large Lin fan base who thinks Lin is the second coming to Jordan, then it's probably like 5% of the most extreme of the Lin fan base, which is a very, 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 very tiny segment of the overall Lin fan base. So why is it that Rockets fans makes it appear like every Lin fan thinks this? This is a complete distortion in a string of other distortions that Rockets fans have imposed on Lin fans in order to marginalize the opinions of Lin fans. Anyway, now that Lin is doing well, I'm hoping that Rockets fans and Lin fans can finally just enjoy that Lin is doing well and helping the Rockets. Because after all, folks, we're on the same damn team. Alright, thanks for listening. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope to see some Rockets fans chime in. And as usual, thumbs up, thumbs down, and share the videos. Please subscribe. Thanks.